You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Rod Mahood, your in-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs, and you're listening to the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your podcast source for all game analysis, team interviews, and up-to-date news regarding the Niagara IceDogs.
Yes, thank you very much for that intro, Mr. Rod Mahood. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another installment of the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your August 6th, 2020 edition. Your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here from the good old Niagara region. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Armchair GM Pod, as well as this show's podcast at Dog Pound Podcast. Like us on Facebook by searching Armchair GM's Network. Listen to us live and on demand on Spreaker.com by searching the Armchair GMs. As well, follow us on Spreaker, or Instagram. I already said Spreaker. Instagram by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network. Lastly, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Deezer. We're on all those different platforms for you. Please give us a like and subscribe if you're listening on any of those platforms. As well, check out our website, armchairgmsports.com. Very updated website there. We've got all of our podcasts, all of our articles. Kyle's been posting a lot of articles on there lately as well. News on our sponsors, deals with our sponsors, and contributor news. Everything is on there. For everything you want to know about the Armchair GMs is on that website. And as always, I'm one of your hosts of the Dog Pound Podcast, Cap. You can follow me on Twitter at Capootz13 with a Canadian Z, and I'm always joined on the IceDogs portion of the network by my co-host and co-owner of the Armchair GM Sports Network, Kyle. You can follow him on Twitter.
Hello.
At JustKyle51. He's been tweeting about the Leafs lately and their playoffs. I haven't had anything to tweet about since my team's been golfing for 4 months. But regardless of that, Kyle, this is our first re-debut episode of the Dog Pound Podcast since we took our 2-week break to revamp the network a little bit. We got the brand new intro from our good friend Rod Mahood, the in-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs. So very much appreciated, Rod, for that. And we wanted to start the Dog Pound Podcast off with a bang once again. And we got a very special interview coming up for you guys. We have the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. Kyle, how excited are you to talk to Billy once again?
Talk to one Burke, got to talk to the other for sure. I'm so pumped for talking to Billy Burke. I mean, we've talked to him almost all season, to be honest, and with our post media scrums. But to be able to talk to him in like a podcast format about what's been going on, because we haven't really talked to him in over 5 months now. I'm very excited for that. I want to know his opinions on the draft picks, both import and the regular OHL draft. And I want to know his opinions on the news that we just got this week with the OHL coming back, baby.
Yeah, December 1st is projected to be the start of the OHL season, hopefully with fans, with media.
Fingers crossed.
Yep, fingers crossed. We continue to do our best here with the protocols that are in place, and hopefully we'll be down there at the Meridian Center being able to cover the team for you guys. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's not take up too much more time, and let's get you to the interview with the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the Dog Pound Podcast, right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. On today's show, we have another great interview lined up for you. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. Billy, Brandon, and Kyle with you here. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on today's show and talk with us once again.
Oh, of course. No, I'm happy to do it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, congrats on becoming a father once again. How's the process been for you, especially during what has been such an unprecedented time in these last 6 months or so? What has quarantine dad life been like in the Burke household?
Well, I mean, honestly, there's times where I feel like I don't even know if there's a quarantine going on in the outside world, because I think I'd be pretty much just stuck inside anyways. But it really is. It's just great to be able to spend all this time. Right when they're young, I have a 2-year-old that's really starting to, really explore the world and to be there in the newborn stages as well. It's, it's great. It's certainly a silver lining, and, I'm really enjoying it.
Is it easier or harder coaching the kids at home or the ones on the ice when you're down at the Meridian Center?
Well, it has, they both have their challenges, but it's consistent at times. It seems like no one's listening. So, it's pretty similar that way.
Good to hear.
It felt like an eternity since we talked to you last, Billy, in the post-game scrums down at the Meridian Center. Just quickly touch on how unfortunate it was for the season to come to a halt, or a pause, if you will, as it looked like it was going to be an exciting race with Kingston and North Bay, especially North Bay being the last game of the season, which could have been a very much of a play-in game for that Eastern Conference.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it wasn't a banner second half for us, but we were in a playoff race. We were tied for the final playoff spot. When they called the season, like you mentioned, North Bay was getting really hot, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had stuck their nose in. But it would have been a fun and exciting finish, to play it out, obviously, and try to get that playoff experience. But, honestly, the fact that our young guys were able to still play, meaningful games, even though we weren't winning as much as we were in the first half, to still be in a playoff race, that in itself is great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the playoff experience, even though it might have been, a tough sledding against a team like Ottawa, that playoff experience is invaluable and something that I'm sure you would have wanted the young kids to have for sure.
Oh, it would have been fantastic if we would have somehow been able to finish and get that 8th spot. And yeah, it would have been realistically a real quick series against Ottawa, but we still would have got the opportunity to go head to head with an outstanding program that is, legit championship contenders. So even though, it would have been a long shot, it would have been a great experience to match up against those guys. But like I said, we were in a playoff race right down towards mid-March there. So, I mean, that in itself, is definitely experience guys can draw for this year.
Yep, definitely some positives from that. But I know quickly, if we can quickly touch on it, there were some long nights down at the building last year at the Meridian Center, and some tough media scrums try and find positives for what was a very promising season at the beginning, which turned to the rebuild when the calendar turned to 2020. How were you able to get the group to buy into that, into what was a very difficult transition period after the trade deadline, while still trying to keep the playoff streak intact, and most importantly for the young core and young players to experience some playoff hockey that would have helped them down the road? Just how are you able to keep the group together with going from one end of the spectrum to the other and all in one season?
It's to be completely honest, it was very challenging. There were times where things that had been automatic for us for 2.5 years, seemed all of a sudden foreign, and we weren't able to do things. And I think it would have been very easy to just dwell on the negatives and the losses piling up and the losing streak. And, it would have been easy to get down and make it a horrible atmosphere. But it was very important, and it was a big challenge that, if nothing else, we need to keep it positive for the guys that are coming into the rink. And, just kind of to touch on one other thing as coaching staff, things aren't going well. It's eating you up. You can't sleep. You just want to give these guys the best chance, every night. And then you start to overcoach a little bit. And that's one thing that, I really noticed is how much, overcoaching can hurt your team so much more than it can help. And I think once we kind of just said, guys, just play, just have fun. We started setting some period goals for us. And, if we're able to hit all those period goals, well, then, that's something that we can strive for. And it might not be the win at the end of the night, but let's really try to, continue to try to get some type of identity and try to play, some type of strong game.
Especially during that losing streak, there's, the press conferences kind of got, monotonous and repetitive, just because it was just tough to try to ask you the same questions that we've been asking for the same 12 games. It's just, you just got to get through that. And at some point you just got to be able to break through, and the team has to be able to break that streak. Just talk about what it was like when you guys finally were able to break through that long losing streak that seemed like it was never going to end.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. It was a terrible stretch. I certainly, really feel for the players, and I just, to the overages, our captains, just what an unbelievable job of leadership. I just think would have been so easy for Latnia to just say, screw this and play it out and just have his eyes focused. But he was an unbelievable captain, rallied the guys, and it was because of that positive belief that the players always had every game, even in that streak, that we were able to finally go into Barrie and get a lead and then survive their comeback late in the third and get that win. And, you know, for really a game that meant nothing in the big picture, it was a snowstorm night. We couldn't get up to Sudbury. We had to backtrack into Newmarket, but, you know, guys were just laughing and cheering on the bus. It was, it was a great feeling, and it was a well-deserved win for the guys.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think sometimes you have to experience what it's like to lose before you can learn what it's like to win, and being able to go through that adversity and be able to come through it on the other side, I think is, you know, valuable experience, not just in hockey, but in life in general.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. Everyone knows that all the best lessons come through adversity, and, you know, I certainly know our struggles in the second half of the season are definitely going to make us stronger going forward. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I guess a silver lining in the whole situation would probably be the fact that the team was able to select second overall in the 2020 OHL draft and take that prized, hopefully, franchise centerman Pano Fimis and all the other draftees that the team was able to add to the group. We actually talked to Pano recently over the summer, and he was really excited. He has a good head on his shoulders for such a young player. He's a pretty incredible player as well, and has a really strong character. Just how exciting was that for you? And if you can briefly talk about what the draft process was like for you guys, having to do it over the phone and video calls during quarantine.
Yeah, well, it's certainly, you know, as soon as the season was called and the draft order was set, what became a very difficult and trying couple months just instantly became excitement, you know, for the future. And Pano Fimis is, you know, if we had picked first overall, we were taking Pano Fimis. That is 100% fact. He was our number one guy. You know, Joey loved him, went out, you know, really spent the time going see him, interviewing him. Like you guys said, his character is off the charts. He's mature well beyond his years. You know, the things he says and how he acts and carries himself for such a young guy is very impressive. And then to be able to back it up with you know, his tenacity and his skill, he's everything that, you know, you want from a young centerman coming in at a perfect time. And obviously he is still a young guy, and there is going to be a learning curve. And, you know, he certainly, you know, shouldn't feel like he has to come in and, you know, save everything right from day one. But, you know, he's going to get a great opportunity to be a real big part of this team, right, you know, from the second we start camp.
Yeah, for sure. He's he told us that his idol was Jonathan Toews, and to live up to that expectation and to replicate your game after a guy like Jonathan Toews is huge, especially because Toews is he is that kind of center. He's mature. He brings a lot to his game, and he brings a lot to the team. And for you to emanate Jonathan Toews is big. This guy Pano could have went out there and said like a Crosby or Connor McDavid, or like the typical, you know, hockey answer. But for him to pick a guy like Toews says a lot about his game as well.
For sure, you can see it too when you watch him. You can see how he does try to, you know, really model things Toews does, because Toews is a details guy. That's what makes him so good, and right down to the face-offs is stuff that Pano takes pride in as well.
Mm-hmm. And we spoke to your brother Joey actually over the summer as well, the GM of the Niagara IceDogs, a little while back, and he had expressed how happy he was that the team members on the team showed the initiative to reach out to their new teammates without you really having to encourage them to do so. How encouraging was that as this group to continue to grow together?
Oh, that's great too. You know, I love hearing things like that. You know, I'm just as proud of the guys when I get an email that, you know, they made someone's day at a school appearance or something like that. I'm actually more proud. That's what it's all about. And, you know, we really worked hard to establish a strong culture here. And it's something that we believe in, you know, to our core over everything. And, you know, to see these guys take ownership of it, to reach out to a new young guy and let them know it's a big jump and a big league, but, you know, there's guys that are here, you know, in your peer group that are going to support you. So it's, you know, it makes me feel really proud of these guys. You know, I'm not totally surprised, but it's a great group of guys here.
Yeah, for sure.
And if I can follow up on that, Billy, just I think Kyle touched on it a little bit, but what was that draft process like for you guys? And how disappointed was it, obviously, not being able to have the jersey, have them put on the jerseys down at the Meridian Center, and really introduce them to the media here in Niagara and the community. Just how different of a process was it this year as opposed to other years? And you were picking so high with a lot of obviously Pano Fimis. Just how different was that for you guys to have to do it, over Skype video or video calling or phone calls or things like that, instead of being able to talk to the player in person?
Yeah, it was. It was different, and it was disappointing, to be honest. These scouts are probably the most unheralded guys at times in the organization, and they're the ones that are out tournaments, putting in all the hours, driving all over the province, with Roger and Joey, and it really becomes their Super Bowl. It's a fun day. They've worked so hard. They come together, they argue, they pound the table, and then they come as one front, and we all are so proud of our draft picks. So it certainly took a little bit of the shine away that way, and, honestly, for me, I really am more of a spectator. I really don't spend nearly as much time as Joey and our scouts during the season getting out there and watching. So really, I go out a handful of times so I can put faces to names, and then, I get to sit back and kind of watch the show a little bit. But it's always fun when you can bring the families and the first-round picks out for the first time, and we haven't been able to do it yet, but it's always exciting, and their eyes light up, and it's a very satisfying feeling.
Yeah, hopefully when they get down to the Meridian Center, when the season does get underway, it'll be that much more special when it finally does happen, because it's been such a long process. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're going to take our commercial break on the show today, guys, and we'll be right back here with more of our interview with the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. So we'll be right back here on the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory, and Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario. J&L Flooring is a Niagara-based specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride in providing elite customer service and support. They are a specialty flooring and decor boutique shop with a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety and truly unique selection of products. All their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced, so you can feel great about your flooring choices. Their goal as a local business is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity, that they foster with respect and authenticity, offering unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team. They connect with their customers to simplify the process to make their life easier and to make their homes beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, or find out more at jnlflooring.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 905-358-3299 J&L Flooring. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill is located on the top of Clifton Hill and just a 5-minute walk from the majestic Niagara Falls. It is conveniently nestled in the heart of the tourist district. A family-owned and operated business, the Spicy Olive opened its doors in May of 2003 and has since been established as an authentic and unique Italian restaurant and bar. Its rustic ambiance and time-worn finishing provide a warm and inviting dining experience. Offering an array of delicious dishes, they specialize in authentic Italian cuisine, homemade sauces, fresh ingredients, and consistently providing a strong foundation on which they build their menu. As night falls, the Spicy Olive shifts to a lively lounge where drinks and live music come together to make a perfect evening. For more than 15 years, they have provided not only for their dedicated locals, but their customers from all over the world with authentic Italian food and great live entertainment. Open daily 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for dinner and till 2 a.m. for drinks. Check out their new menu and book reservations on their website at Spicy Olive Bar and Grill, it's with an E at the end, .com, or call 905-371-2323 for reservations as well. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Brandon and Kyle back with you here, and we are joined today on our special interview by the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. And Billy, going off what we touched on before the commercial break, how has the communication been like, not just with your players, but with your staff as well during this period of isolation? And what message or expectations have you guys given for the group on an individual level, as a group and as an individual level, since you can't really get together for team skates and workouts? Has that been a challenge or a learning experience for you, having to deliver a different style of coaching from a distance?
It's certainly like everything. There's been an adjustment to everything that's been going on. I think the biggest thing, and what was probably caused the most anxiety for all of us, was not knowing when when we were going to be able to start up again. So it was kind of, I'd be texting the guys and calling the guys and seeing how the summer's going, how the training's going. But it's weird to not know exactly where we were and when it was time to ramp it up again. So I know now there's been certainly, more of a focus that we have our December 1st start date, and, over the next couple weeks, training camp information will come out. So now there's an end date, and we can certainly start to really focus in on it. But I mean, it's been like any other summer where, I call the guys, I text the guys, probably on every couple of weeks, just see how things are going. And it's the same with the staff. It's not necessarily always, did you do your 100 burpees today? It's a lot just how's it going, and excited to get back, and, just kind of keeping in touch and keeping our relationship strong. And, I honestly, you almost don't even need to tell these guys that they need to work hard in the summer anymore. I mean, if they don't work hard, someone else is, and they'll lose their job. I mean, really, having the summer of your life is it's a prerequisite these days. So there's no point even, stressing it out, because I know that these guys are going out, treating their bodies like professional athletes, training as hard as they can, because they understand how competitive the league is and how competitive our team's going to be. And, you don't want to let someone else come in and take your job.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a lot on even like their social medias. A couple of players post. I think there was one the other day actually. Marco Razzi from the 67s. He was posting. He was doing like balance training in his basement. So I know that you probably hope that they should take it all professionally. You know that you can rely on them to do so. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, no, I saw that video of Razzi, and if I saw it, all the players saw it too. We all saw it. And there's a guy in junior. Look at him. His lower body he looks like an NHL player already. And that's kind of, one of the beauties about social media is guys have that measuring stick right in their hands, right on their phones. I can see there's my buddy, my teammate. He's at the track again. He's doing his sprints. What am I doing? So it certainly can help to motivate the guys as well, seeing how hard their peers are working.
Mm-hmm.
And to touch base on my question earlier about draft, that you recently had the 2020 import draft for the CHL, where you were able to select 4th overall Daniil Gushin. I hope I'm saying that right. Looking at his last name, I was really unsure how to say it correctly. But the Russian-born right winger, what excites you about him and how his skill set will fit into the growing group of dynamic young players here?
Well, we're thrilled to have Daniil. I mean, Joey went out to the under-17 World Championships, this year and the year before, and that's when he first saw Daniil, loved him. We've been in contact with him. He's just, he's a prototypical, he's the forward that you want in the NHL and the OHL. That's why he's ranked so high. He's a guy, first of all, he's a tremendous motor, tremendous heart. That's one thing that everyone says about him. And then you can put elite vision, elite skill, goal scoring ability. He's a guy that should come in and be able to adjust very quickly. And, he's a guy that is certainly going to be one of the centerpieces of our forward group. And, can't wait to get started with him, being in conversation with him over the summer. He's a hockey player. He has his eyes set on the NHL, and, he wants to work very hard to get there. So he's an incredibly impressive young guy, and can't wait to get him over here.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his highlight videos. He's got that go away speed that can really trouble some defenders in the offensive zone. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on the ice as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a speed and skill league, and he has an abundance of both. So it's going to be very exciting, and I think he's going to be a great teammate and a great asset for other guys to see how hard a high NHL pick works, and I'm sure it's going to rub off on a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And going off of that, I mean, as a coach, you must have already, it been in your head during these last few months here, starting to think about, without getting into detail about the exact lines and things like that. You have to be pretty thrilled with, basically fantasy booking your own lines going into the season with a lot of good young players and everything like that. How excited are you to finally be able to put those lineups up on the whiteboard when that time finally comes with all these great young players coming in?
No, well, exactly. I mean, right at the end of the season, it was kind of just holes. An import can go here, and someone, a young guy can go here and here. But to actually have these names now, and you can put a forward group together and put the D together, and to see it in front of you, it's very exciting. It's something that I probably think about every day. For a good chunk every day, and it's think about things. Guys that can mesh well, and styles of play and things, and I really think this group that we have is going to fit in exactly with the kind of team that we want here. So it's very exciting to get going, and to look at the lines. It's pretty impressive. There's depth where there once wasn't, and it's exciting again. You have that feeling of excitement where you just want to get going, and you feel like you're going to have a chance every night.
Yep, just like dad life, the coaching life never stops, eh, Billy?
No, it never stops. It's certainly it's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's sometimes I wish, and I'm sure my wife wishes I could turn it off, but very lucky. So it's all good.
Yeah. And going into my next question, it's also about coaching. There have been some changes on the coaching side and to your staff for this upcoming season. Obviously, Mark Mancari has moved on from the organization to pursue other endeavors, and you brought in Sean Tickle as the new assistant coach for your staff, coming over from the North York Rangers of the OJHL. What gives you confidence that Sean can come in and fit right into this staff, but as well be an important and positive influence on this young team to help their development and growth with his past coaching experience?
Yeah, no, he's certainly a guy who's put in the work at many levels and has had success at many levels. He has a great reputation with his players. He's coached Pano Fimis and Cam Snow in the past, and I called both those guys when it looked like we were gonna hire Sean, and they both gave a very similar, very strong recommendation. And when they both were saying the same thing, it was like, okay, that's exactly what I had hoped, because that's exactly the impression I got. He's a young guy, great personality, up and coming. I just think he's going to fit into our culture so well.
Awesome. And Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's got a pretty impressive resume. And just quickly touch on, I know he left the organization, but Mark Mancari, obviously being a former NHL player, what do you think that the players will take away from his experience being here in Niagara and what he was, how he was a part of your staff?
Oh, it was great. I mean, the guys he had a great reputation with the guys. The guys loved working with him. His experience, it was just great information for the players. And I would have loved to have Mark back. He was commuting from London every day. Never complained about things. I know he's on with Sarnia now, and they certainly got a great coach. And he has a great family. He's a great guy, and the hockey world's small, and you keep in touch. And certainly wish him all the best. And personally, I can't thank him enough for everything that I was able to learn from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure he's happy with less of a travel too. I'm sure that he's loving that a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He's such a good guy. He doesn't know how to complain, but for him, and it's nice to have a little bit extra time at home in the morning.
And the last thing I'll say about that before Kyle gets into his last question, Billy, is that I'm like these kids. We sometimes forget that these are still kids and they're still in the developmental stage at such a young age, and sometimes it really is about the great coaching and the great mentorship that they have from you guys as a staff. Just how important is that for you guys to make sure as a staff that you're really being a positive influence on these kids and teaching them the real life lessons, not just for hockey, but when they as they're becoming young adults and men, just how important teaching them those life skills as well is an important part of the coaching job.
It really is. It's the most important thing. I think if we have strong character, good guys who are respectful and mindful of their opportunities and the advantages that they're lucky enough to receive by being OHL hockey players. If we can get guys like that, well, then there's a good chance that they take care of their schooling, and there's a good chance that they're, the hardest working guys in the gym, and there's a good chance that, they're elite hockey players as well. And it seems that everything falls into line. Good things happen to good guys, and the more good guys and good people that we can bring in here, it becomes a positive atmosphere. And then, I actually saw Dallas Eakins said something about culture. He said it's caught, not bought, which, is something that, I found to be very true.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Lastly, Billy, with all these things you've done that happened to the IceDogs in the summer, from the draft to the coaching change, lastly, it's going to tie into my last question here. With the exciting news yesterday that the OHL, drawing any setbacks, will hopefully be starting to return to a play format on December 1st of this year, which is subject to ensuring that the players, fans, staff, and community are all able to play and attend games safely. As the article did state in it, it said over the next 4 months, the league will continue to work with the government and health agencies to finalize outstanding issues such as safe attendance at venues, cross-border travel for teams and players. Additionally, the season will include a 64-game schedule opposed to 68 and a 16-team playoff format. The regular season is scheduled now to end on Thursday, April 29th of 2021. What are your thoughts on this announcement, and how confident are you that the OHL will be able to meet this criteria by abiding by social distancing and other safety protocols for all fans, staff, and players over the next 4 months?
Well, it was very exciting. We had no information from last week to what I had in March. So, you're supposed to be a month off of camp and you're getting antsy. Like I said, you're getting anxious. So to get this firm start date, obviously it's later than we would have loved, but it's certainly better than January 1st or no season at all. So I know, over the next couple months, the OHL is going to continue to do everything they can to make sure that, first and foremost, everybody, players, fans, everybody is safe and everyone's able to come back, and it's a good environment. I know, obviously, if you watch the news, there's very positive news coming out on a vaccine, so fingers crossed that we continue to get positive news on that front, because that'll certainly help bringing fans back. But I mean, I am 100% confident and optimistic and excited that we're going to continue to make progress, and we're going to continue to work as a society to continue to end this virus, and hopefully we can be pretty close to back to normal by December 1st.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if the decision comes that fans won't be allowed back, I'm hoping us as media members are allowed back so we can come down and bug you 6 feet away after every game.
No, please, you guys are an absolute professional. It's you guys are a dream. I'm very lucky.
Well, Billy, thanks so much for taking the time to come on and give us your insight as the head coach of our beloved IceDogs, and hopefully you're able to give our listeners and fans something to be excited about moving forward with this next exciting chapter of the IceDogs hockey, as special things are on the horizon for this young group, as everybody sees. Lastly, as a disclaimer, your brother Joey told us that when he was on the show last, that you guys had an interesting move from Mississauga when the IceDogs relocated here to Niagara, that you essentially loaded up and unloaded the team down here. So he was joking. We were still waiting for the announcement of the hopeful new Netflix special of Joey and Billy Come to Niagara. I think that would be a ratings breaker.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's the content that people want. That's for sure. But no, it's right from literally day one. I remember down there in the Mississauga IceDogs dressing room at the Hershey Center at the time, told to take everything that wasn't bolted to the ground. So that was hot tubs, cold tubs. It was literally everything that wasn't bolted to the ground. Moved it out here and got it set up. And, if we're talking about year one quick, I was, Joey and I were working training camp, the very first training camp. We were outside, doing registration and whatever else needed to be done at the time. And a nice old lady came up to me and said, "I'll never forget, it's great to have you here. Yeah, you won't last 5 years." So showed her going strong, and it's never been a more exciting time than it is right now as we enter this next era.
Wow, what a raving endorsement by that lady. I wonder I wonder what she thinks of it now. But that Burke Brothers comedy seems like it would be that'd be a Netflix hit for sure.
Well, that's a good idea. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, awesome. Billy, thanks again, like I said, for joining us. And I know I speak for Kyle and myself that it was a pleasure being able to cover the IceDogs last season for our first year as media members, and always appreciated you taking the time to answer our questions with such insightful answers, even after some very tough games and probably nights that you didn't want to have to go out there and talk to us. So we very much appreciate that, as we were as nervous out there as anybody. So we hope to talk to you again sooner rather than later down at the Meridian Center for the eventual startup of another IceDogs season, hopefully at the beginning of December. And be healthy, be safe, and good luck coaching those young ones at home as well.
Thank you very much, guys, and thanks again for everything you guys do. You guys work as hard as these players, so we're all learning together, and I can't wait to see you guys in a couple months.
Yep, awesome. Thanks so much, Billy. Take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There's the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Mr. Billy Burke. Some great insight from Billy once again. Always very much appreciated for him giving us such great answers. Like I asked him at the end, there were some long nights down there at the Meridian Center, and obviously it wasn't easy at times for him to go out there and answer the questions. And with the team struggling at so bad during that one stretch, it was very much appreciated for him to be able to still have the character as the head coach to come out there and give us a few minutes of his time. And today, giving us about a half hour of his time away from his dad life. He said I believe he told us that it was nap time, so he was able to make some time for us. So we always love talking to Billy. Like you said in the opening, it had been about 5 months since we had talked to him, and it was nice to get to know him a little bit better, not just in a couple minutes scrum, but like you mentioned, in more of a podcast type setting.
Yeah, and you can generally tell he's very excited about this upcoming season, especially when the announcement dropped this week about the OHL season. He's very excited to get things back and going, and he's excited for the draft picks that we've drafted, Pano and among others, and then the import draft. You can just tell he's ready to get back to coaching these kids and ready to get back in that rink. And for sure, I think we should embark on making this Netflix documentary ourselves, since Netflix probably won't do it. So I think me and Brandon here have to grab the camera crew and do it ourselves.
Yeah, this Burke Brothers Come to Niagara. It's going to be a hit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, it's coach. He's never stopped thinking about coaching. We asked him about the line combinations, and he says he thinks about it every day. So just like the dad life, the coaching never stops for him, and especially for somebody like him who hasn't been able to coach for so long here in the off season. It's been an extended off season. I'm sure he's just chomping at the bit to get back in there on the whiteboard and just continuing to help develop these young kids kids as an important part of this organization.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed this very special edition of the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here from the Niagara region. As always, I'm one of your hosts of the Dog Pound Podcast, Cap. You can follow me on Twitter at Caputs13 with the Canadian Z. As well, you can follow my co-host at JustKyle51. Big thank you to all of our great sponsors who help put us on and support the network, keep the show on the air, especially during these very unprecedented times. Make sure you're going out and supporting your local businesses. It's very important. And finally, to you viewers out there for tuning in and listening along with us for this episode. Hopefully you IceDog fans got some good insight there and got you excited about the upcoming IceDog season, hopefully in December of 2020. So, folks, that's the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network by sports fans, for sports fans. Bark, bark, bark. Go Dogs, go. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon.